What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the free trading game collection. If you want to check out any of the episodes in the playlist, it is linked in the description. We've got a lot to get through today, so without any further ado, let's dive straight into the first pickup. I have 4 from Vinted. I've got a fair few from the boot sale. We're going to take it all into CeX, get a voucher, and then spend the majority of that in one go. The first pickup is nothing really special, it's just a little bit of a bonus, I guess, and that is Minecraft something or other on the Switch. It's one of the story modes, I think. I got this for £7 plus a very small amount of postage. It's a little bit less than the normal Vinted postage for some reason. I think it was a custom postage thing, but I think it cost me just over £8 all in, and at the time it traded for 18. I think it's come down to 16 now, so I traded it at just the right time. So we have £18 in credit. I will deduct all of the money spent today from the total cash balance in the series at the end of the episode, just to make life a little bit easier. The next pickup, or pickups I should say, are all the same game. Now, I didn't know the rules, so when I went in with 3 copies of the same game into CeX, I was fully expecting them to tell me that I wouldn't be allowed to trade in 3, but he did say the rule was 3. I have seen in the comments someone said that they send off for like a bulk trade price if it's more than 3 copies. I don't know how true that is, but thankfully I didn't have to deal with that. So 3 copies of YouTuber's Life 2. I mean, I do have my own, so if I traded in all of them, it would have been 4. I don't know what to do with mine. It's going to stay in the collection for the time being, and I've mentioned it before. I was tempted to try and sell it because CeX used to try and sell it for 28. It's come down in price now to 25, but it traded for 18. It's now come down to 16. I bought 3 copies. How did that come about? Well, someone was selling 3 of them on Vinted for £10 each. So I bundled them together, shot an offer of 25 plus postage. They accepted, and the rest is history. So I wanted to sell them all, or at least sell 2 of them to make my money back. And then I was going to trade in the final one, but if all 3 of them sold, then it would have just been a nice bit of profit for the series. I couldn't shift them. I tried at 25, I tried at 22, I tried at 20, I even then considered 18, and I thought, well, I might as well just write the money off and trade them in. So I did. I traded them in for £18 a piece. I'll show you the receipt in just a second when I've gone through everything that I've picked up, just so that you know that I'm telling the truth. That's a nice chunk of credit. Now we dive into the boot sale pickups. First of which is going to be Forza 7 on the Xbox One. Now, I couldn't look this up at the time, unfortunately, because my internet was playing up on my phone, so I had to just go old school and guess. And I'm glad to say that I've guessed right. So this guy is a little bit overpriced with his stuff. For example, he's got a Wii, no games, not very good condition, wants 40 quid. I can't sell 2 Wiis for 40 quid, so I don't know how he thinks he's going to get 40 quid for one, but there we are. His games were a little bit over on most of them, like his PlayStation 2 games. He had priced up either bang on or way over. But Forza 7, he was slipping, so I caught him. £5 on this, trades for 10, so a nice little double up in credit. 5 on that, yeah?
5, yeah. 5 on the games, £3 on the Xbox ones.
The next pickup is going to be 2 PlayStation 4 games. My wife was looking at Disney mugs and she said, oh, there's some games there. So scooped them up. I didn't buy all of them. One of which was, I think, Star Wars Battlefront, the first one. Is it Battlefront? The one that just doesn't sell. The one that nobody wants. I think you could literally buy it for 10 pence in a cash generator if you found it in stock somewhere. But the 2 games I did pick up were Gran Turismo and Drive Club. She wanted £1 each. Gran Turismo trades for 6 and Drive Club was 3, so £2 into 9 in credit is not bad at all. And then the final pickup from this boot sale was 2 stalls up from, if you remember a couple of episodes ago, where I bought Unreal Tournament, Wheelman, Tekken, Wrestling. I think there's another game in there as well, X-Men, for £1 each. 2 stalls up, 3 stalls up, something like that. Pasting table. Just covered in crap. It was like someone had emptied the pound shop on this table. But on top of all this crap, we're in amongst it all anyway, there were 2 games. NBA 2K, I want to say 21 on the PlayStation 4, and the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, which I've traded before actually into CeX. I traded a sealed copy in a long time ago. It was £10 trade at the time. Again, couldn't look it up. Phone wasn't really working properly. Bought the Tokyo games for £2, that's all he wanted, so I was quite happy with that. Wanted £2 for NBA. Now I knew that NBA games held a little bit more value than things like FIFA that tend to just drop right to the floor straight away and they never really recover. NBA games, I have traded them in the past. NBA 2K20 on the Xbox One, for example, traded for like £4 or £5 a little while ago. So I'm in an iron about that one. And before I could even really ask the question, not that I was thinking about it, he said, "I'll give you £1 for that one if you want." So yeah, bang, straight away. So £3 spent. I think NBA trade for 4 and Tokyo traded for 6. That has since come down to, I think, 5. But £10 on those from 3, not bad at all. That gives us a grand total of £101 in credit for CeX. I'll show you the receipt that I got. I actually got £107. The reason for that was because I traded that Lego Marvel game in on the PS4 that we bought Perky Little Things with last week or the week before. Remember, I had some credit left over from the Nacon controller. I actually used £6 from that Lego game. We added a couple of quid and then we got Perky Little Things on the Switch. Just before we go though, if you're interested in following my running journey, which is basically what I'm going to be documenting on Instagram, you can find the link in the description. I know a lot of people have followed me over there thinking that one day I'll upload something related to video games. It's not going to be. It used to be my personal, so I'm just going to start uploading things I want. So it's mainly going to be running, maybe some eating stuff, some food or whatever it may be. So if you want to follow me over there, feel free. If not, then no worries. Let's go CeX. So with £101 to spend, I had a couple of options. First of which was going to be to maybe knock off 1 or 2 of the big hitters. There are some really expensive games. I say really expensive games. There are some £40 to £50 games on the Switch that I really want. Oh, he thinks that's really expensive. I get it. If you're not buying a game that's worth £110 or something, you're not a real collector. And I'm okay to not be in that category if that's how much I have to spend on a game to be considered one. But I bought some pretty nice games, one of which I'm a little bit disappointed it's come down in price quite considerably since I've bought it, but at the same time I'm okay with it because it does look really good. I haven't quite played it yet, but the first 2 pickups, one is going to be a PS5 game, the other is going to be a PS4 game, and I've looked at them for quite a while. In fact, I've mentioned both of them in previous videos, one of which I said I was going to go back and get, and I completely forgot about it. I went back and it was still there, and I'm talking months ago, and I don't even know if it's really a game. It is 1111 Memories Retold. So I don't actually think this is a game. I think this is more of a story, and it's very artsy and stylized. I really do like the design of this, but I think it follows 2 people, I think they're called Kurt and Harry, at the end of World War One, and it'll show you how it came to be that they ended their war, I should say. But yeah, it's voice acted by Elijah Wood and Sebastian Koch, which is interesting. I don't know who Sebastian is, but Elijah Wood, obviously, we all know him. But yeah, it looks interesting. I've had my eye on it for a while. It was only £4, so that's why it's in my hand. The next game is a game that I actually wish I had on the Switch, not the PS5, but beggars can't be choosers. I've never seen this on the Switch in CeX. I see it quite a lot on places like Vinted, but it's always a little bit overpriced. In CeX, it's only about $10-15. I actually paid £6 for this on the PS5. It's Rustler. This is essentially a medieval top-down GTA. At least that's what they try and package it as. They say live the medieval ruffian life. Commit grand theft horse and explore a historically inaccurate sandbox. So for those of you old enough to remember, GTA used to be a top-down game, and that's when it was the most fun in my opinion. I really loved the first one and Grand Theft Auto London. GTA 2 to me just looked like you were driving bugs, big beetles around the place. I didn't really like the art style of that one, but I love those old GTA games, and this kind of reminded me of it. And for only £6, I've mentioned it quite a few times in videos that I will eventually pick it up, and I have done. So I'm hoping it's going to be as enjoyable as it looks. This is only a 5 gig game, so it's only half the size of that 1111. So yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be decent, but because of the art style of it and the graphics and everything, can obviously understand why it's a small game, but hopefully it's decent. If you've played it, let me know. And then we jump back into CeX, because now it's time to look at one of the greatest consoles of all time it's the Xbox 360. There are loads of games on this console that I want to pick up, and I've seen a fair few people recently go to Cash Generator and buy a lot of games very, very cheap, whether they just sell them off all the time or maybe they're having a sale right now, I really don't know. But I don't have a Cash Generator near me, or Cash Converter or whatever it may be, so I need to go somewhere where they have one with a decent selection, and I'm thinking maybe Swindon at some point, because they've got an A6 store that I really want to go to. But anyway, that being said, the reason I mention that is because I do want to go at some point to one of these types of places and take, I don't know, 20, 30 quid with me and just buy a whole host of the lower dollar games, if you will. Now, one or two of the games I've actually picked up on the 360 today are a little bit more expensive than those sort of pound games that I kind of want to pick up. The first of which is a movie to game adaptation that actually works really well. This is a really good game, at least it is in memory. I remember playing it, finishing it, loving it, and then I played through it again like a couple of days later and just enjoyed it as much as I did the first time. This is Saw. I am a huge horror fan. I love any horror movie from Zombievers to, well, Saw, and I am one of those people who believe that every single Saw film is just as good as the last. Even Spiral from the Book of Saw, which no one liked, I thought was decent. It is arguably the worst in the series, but even like Jigsaw and the new one that's coming out, I know I'm going to like it, even if it's terrible, just because I love the whole universe. So £8 for this game does seem a little bit on the pricey side for a game of this age that is a movie to game adaptation, but it is a really, really good game, and if you haven't played it but you're into horror, I would recommend it. Before I show you my next Xbox 360 pickup, which is going to complete a set that I have been building for a little while, I'm going to go over to the Switch, because I do have two Switch games to show you, the first of which is a game that I haven't really seen before. It is available on PS4 as well. I have looked at a few of the sort of cheaper games on the Switch, because I'm kind of into, at the moment, I'm into playing anything and everything that is on the Switch, but I'm looking at shorter games. I'm having a real fun time going through and playing some of these sort of 4 to 6 hour games, if you will. I like longer games, you know, the 30-hour plus games. They can be enjoyable, but for me, someone who doesn't have a tremendous amount of time to sit there and just play through a game until it's done, I do like the shorter experiences that I can sort of bash out in 2, 3, 4 sittings and then feel a real sense of accomplishment. So there are a lot of games on the Switch that I want to pick up, and I do have Pokemon Arceus that I want to start soon, but it is going to be a fairly lengthy process to finish that game. So in the meantime, I want to pick up some shorter games, and this is where this comes in. Now, this dropped down in price, I think just for one day, and I caught it on that day. This is Gianna Sisters Twisted Dreams Ultimate Edition. There you go. So this is £10. It's now 12. It was 12 the night before I went to pick it up, because I made a list of the games I wanted, so I wasn't faffing around in there for too long. And it dropped down the day I went to pick it up, and then I checked like the day or two after, and it had gone back up to 12, and I think it's there now. This is one of those games that you can play through it, and I think in around 3 to 4 hours, but it does have replayability, because you are two sisters, but you can only play one at a time, but you can switch whenever you want, and when you switch, the whole world and the atmosphere changes. One of them is like a Sunshine and Rainbows kind of sister, where everything in the background is going to be all nice and lush, if you will, and then the other sister is like a punk rock kind of character, and everything turns a little bit more grungy from what I've seen in reviews. So it does look really interesting, and the whole enemies and everything sort of change when you switch sisters, I think. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to play through that and then to see if I have any replayability in it. But I think it is a particularly short game. It was cheap, and it's a platformer, so why not? As I've mentioned before with 1111 that I've already showed you in this video, and other games like Brothers in Arms, Hell's Highway and things, I've mentioned that I am into history somewhat, and I do enjoy content from like World War I, World War II, and I'm interested in seeing different people's perspectives and stories on it and how it plays out and things. This is an RTS game based on World War II. It's Sudden Strike 4. Now, I don't really know anything about the Sudden Strike series, so to jump in the fourth one, I'm not too worried about it, because I don't think I need to know what happened in Sudden Strike 1 to 3, because it's just history, right? Now, back in the day, I used to play a lot of games like Age of Empires, but my biggest game was Command and Conquer. And this is one of those types of games I think I'm going to really get into. It is an RTS, however, I don't think it's like you go and build bases and things. You just command troops during certain parts of the war. But I think I quite like the idea of that. There are over 20 missions in a single player campaign, so I'm looking forward to get started on this. I know there's like a deluxe edition with this one, but that is considerably more money, and I'm not sure whether I'm going to like it yet. So I was happy to pick up this one, just the base version, see if I like it, and if I do, I'll get the deluxe at some point in the future. 3 games left. Let's jump back over to the Xbox 360. Plenty of games still to pick up. Now, I had obviously some money left over at this point. I think about 50 quid going into this next pickup, maybe even a little bit more. I haven't quite done the maths on where I am right now. But I had options. I could have bought a load of the cheaper games, but I'm trying to stay away from those when I've got a lot of credit, and I've mentioned this in the past. More than happy to go and spend £2, £3, £4, £5 on a game in cash in CEX every now and again. So if I do have £100 in credit, I try and buy slightly more expensive games. I know I've shown you a couple of £6, £5 and £8 games here, but the next game I picked up is one that I would never have bought with cash. It was £12, it's still £12 as far as I remember, and I needed it to complete the series that I have on the 360. I didn't even know this existed until like a week or two ago. It is Fable Anniversary. Now, I'm not happy to admit it, but I will admit that I've never played the original Fable. I loved the second Fable game, right up my street. The third game was good, but not as good as the second one in my opinion. I've never played this, and I didn't know it existed on the Xbox 360. I thought I was going to have to pick up an original Xbox or play it on Game Pass if it's on there. But thankfully, I don't need to do that because I can now play it on the Xbox 360. I don't know whether it was remastered or whether it's just a straight port, but yeah, for 12 quid, I was happy to pick that up and complete the set and give it a go at some point. It'll be a in the future job, I think, but yeah, happy to pick it up. No manual though, unfortunately, although I don't know if it ever did come with one because I don't think this was an individual resale game. I think it was packed in with something. If you know what it was packed in with, let me know. One of the series I'm collecting for on the PS4 at the moment is Resident Evil. Now, I have a few on the PlayStation 4. I've got the Steelbook of Village on the PS5. And on the PS4, I think I have Resident Evil 2, Biohazard, of course, and Revelations. Is it Revelations. I don't have Revelations 2. There are so many to keep track of. I think I did have Revelations 2 at one point, but I traded it because it was quite high value and then decided that I wanted it again. But either way, I know there are a load of games I need to get on that in that series. But I've knocked, technically speaking, 2 of them off that list today with the Resident Evil Origins collection. This is the first game, remastered in HD of course, and Resident Evil 0, which came out I believe on the GameCube and the PS2. I haven't played 0. I would say I'm a big Resident Evil fan. I'm a fan of the original games, and I'm a fan of the movies, and even the TV series. I know people don't like the movies, they don't like the TV series, they don't like the new movie. I love it all. It's like Saw. They can make a terrible one, and I still love it. It's just the universe. I love anything in the universe. Even if the acting is bad, and the action is bad, and the story doesn't make any sense, doesn't fit the games, I don't care. I just love being in that universe. So, even though I would consider myself to be a Resident Evil fan, I'm not a massive fan because obviously I haven't played 0 and I haven't played them all on different platforms or anything. But 12 quid for that. It's since gone up to 15. It is the first game. We obviously have the second. We now need to just get the third and the fourth and the fifth and the sixth and a couple of others besides. We're nearly there. You know, we've nearly finished it. We've got miles to go. But really happy to pick that up. I don't know if it ever came with a manual, but this one doesn't, unfortunately. The disc is in good enough condition though, so I'm happy about that. And for one final time in this episode, let's go back to CEX and have a little look through the Switch section. So, in recent episodes, we have knocked off a few nice big first-party titles. We picked up, spoiler alert, Mario Kart 8. We picked up Super Mario Odyssey, and of course Pokemon Arceus, to name but 3, but we have picked up a fair few over time, and I have a lot of them. Of course there's plenty more to get, but I thought I'd veer off track a little bit here. So actually within this trip to CEX, this is when I picked up Perky Little Things. That was I think 20 quid. Finished that almost the same day that I picked it up. Very strange game. And then I went for another strange game. Now, unfortunately, there was another game that I wanted, and if I've got a footage of me picking it up and showing you, then I will. I think I've shown you in another video. The game is called Lemon Cake. I really, really wanted this. It was 30 quid. I don't know how much it is now. It's probably gone up to like 99, knowing my luck. But I really, really want this game. You essentially own a bakery. So there's 3 sections. You own the bakery, and that's where you serve customers. Out the back is then where you cook and bake everything. And then out the back of that is where you grow all the ingredients. So it's got 3 steps to it. And it looked like a really interesting game that I think I would actually enjoy. Very arcade paradisey, but for bakery, right? Now, I love cake. Who doesn't? So it was right up my street. Unfortunately, I didn't have 30 quid because there was a game I wanted just that little bit more. Now, like I said, unfortunately, this has come down in price. So had I left it, maybe I could have got it for £6 cheaper because it has dropped by 6 quid. It is Chicken Police Paint It Red. £28 spent on this. It's a very LA Noire-esque game. I think it's based back in the 20s. It's all black and white from what I can tell. There's a splash of colour here or there. You are a detective, but the twist on this, of course, is that you are a chicken. It is a little bit strange, but of course helped by the fact that every other character in this game is also some sort of animal of some description. If you've played it, let me know what you think of it in the comments. Really, really nice range of games there. 2 360, 3 PS4, 1 PS5, 2 Switch. Very, very nice. But of course, that's not all the credit. So what happened to the rest of it? I'll show you receipts to show that everything is legit and everything like that. There is a Lego game on one of the receipts that I traded for CeX. Of course, that went toward Perky Little Things. And we had some credit left over from the Nacon, and then I added a couple of quid. But we do have £13 in credit left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a note of it, leave it on screen, and that is the amount of credit that we'll take into the next episode, because I have already spent it, but I don't want to put that in here because it comes with a whole host of other things that I need to show you as well, and this video is already long enough. You won't have to wait too long for that video, but if you do want to check out another video from me, you can click here, and until the next time, goodbye.